Hey yo, this is Dash, and I know you haven't seen me in a while, and there's a pretty good reason. I don't know if you remember, but towards the end of last year with the Beer Growth Project, my last update, I informed you guys that I was going to be kind of doing a little hiatus from YouTube because of the fact that I started a business and it started to take off. And I've been keeping busier with the business than I thought. So, with that being said, fast forward from January till now in May. Today is May 19th, 2014, and I want to show you guys what I just got yesterday. So this is my new kick-ass smoker. It was built by a fellow YouTuber by the name of Kirk. Here, I'll put his channel like right there or right across the smoker there while you guys are watching. So what I'll do is give you a little walk around and tell you all about it. So in case you haven't or don't know, I started a business towards the end of last year. Got some encouragement, a little bit of encouragement from, you know, friends and family that I should pretty much do what I was doing, you know, for real. I've always been one of these type of people that liked cooking on the grill, and then I fell in love with smoking meat. Went to Texas, had some really great brisket, and I couldn't get that brisket back home, where I live now in Baltimore. So what ended up happening was I started trying to use my grill. That didn't work out. I got this little teeny bullet smoker. There's a picture of that right there. That didn't really work out too well either. Then I found designs to make smokers out of steel drums. All right. Now, mind you, I apologize. My garage is a little messy because, you know, I have cars back there, projects. My pickup truck, remember that? Somebody broke into. There's a mistress out there. All right. And now here's the new smoker. All right. Now let me just walk you through real fast. This is number 1 and this is number 2 as far as the smokers I've built. I have another one over here that I'm pretty much using as a trash can, but it's pretty much almost finished. So the way this works out, and when I'm cooking, you know, I use gloves and everything. So let me put a glove on. All right, the way this works out, and we might as well start from the top down. So the top, as you notice, is a regular grill dome, okay? This is a 23.5-inch grill dome. Same thing here. They're just two different designs. One is straight lift off, and the other one, whenever I have a moment, it's supposed to have hinges on the back and lift up kind of like this. We'll see if I actually do that, but I've just been lifting it off. All right, so we'll focus on number 1 right now. All right, so we have the top grill grate, okay? There should be a second grill grate in there, and I apologize, there's not that much light. But this is the water pan. There's a water pan that goes in here. The water pan sits right on top of the firebox. You can see the firebox down there. The firebox is made and welded by me, and then that firebox just uses simply charcoal, and then I put wood chunks on top of it, right? And then, as I was saying, there's 2 levels in here, so I can put this on the lower level. Let me get some light. All right, that should make it a little easier. So there's 2 levels in this smoker, all right? This smoker is similar in size to a Weber, a 23.5-inch Weber Smoky Mountain, or the big Weber Smoky Mountain. But there's the firebox and the grate that the water pan sits on down at the bottom, okay? Then sorry, I only have one hand here. There's the lower level, and then if I can find the other grate, I moved it. Here it is. The other grate, it sits right in here on top, and actually, oddly enough, as I'm looking at it, it's kind of warped from all of the usage. All right, so like this is the pork smoker. So this is the one that I do primarily only pork on at the moment, and So what I normally do, light the fire, then I put the water pan on top of that lowest grate. So light the fire and then put the water pan right on top of there. Then put that first level on, or the lower level. And that lower level, I can put 3 rack of ribs, okay? Or a pork shoulder, like 2 pork shoulders. And once I do that on the lower level, everything's falling around me. I don't really want to. Yeah, I'm just going to have to hold it. Alright, so once I put stuff on the lower level, alright, usually I'll do a pork shoulder down there, and then if I'm doing like pork shoulder and ribs, I'll do 2 pork shoulders down there, or pork butts, however you want to call it. And then I'll do 3 racks ribs on the top, usually. So, but the problem I'm having is I'm running out of capacity. Right. So because at most in the smoker, at one time, I can cook is 6 rack of ribs. Now I have this other smoker over here, and usually, like during the week, I'll do quick smokes, which are ribs and chicken. On Monday nights, I'll cook ribs and chicken. And Wednesdays usually, if I'm sold out, I'll cook ribs and chicken again. But I'll do 6 racks of ribs in here, and I'll do 6 whole chickens in here, and I'm just running out of room. Okay, 6 racks and 6 chickens isn't enough. Now, as far as this smoker, this is number 2 again. Mind you, my hand's all dirty now. So, but in number 2, what I normally have or use it for or cook in is brisket and chicken. So the beef and the chicken. I told you guys already that I have done I'll do 6 chickens at a time. So I'll have just like this one, just like this one is just like this one with 2 levels. So I'll do 3 whole chickens on the bottom, and then I'll do another 3 whole chickens on the top. I split the chickens and cut the backs out so it's easier for me to align them. Now I can fit at most 8 chickens in here. It just gets a little cramped, right? So I don't normally do that many chickens at once, but usually I can do 2 briskets, 2 whole briskets at the same time, or I'll do 3 or 4 chickens and a brisket. And then just like here, if I'm cooking mixed meat, I'll do pork shoulder down at the bottom, and then I'll do ribs at the top. And since it's all pork, that's fine. They can drip on each other. This one though, if anytime I cook 2 different meats, I always put the beef on the bottom because it has a stronger flavor than the chicken, and the chicken can drip down on the beef, and it only actually enhances the flavor of the beef. But nonetheless, I'm hitting my capacity. I kicked that thing again. So in walks this. Now I had, and what this is, you can see, is a 275 gallon, a repurposed 275 gallon oil tank, right? And the whole thing is, I was on YouTube looking for designs on how to build something like this, because I had 2 of these before someone stole them off my property. Yeah, if you saw my Instagram post, you see I was pretty upset about that. Now, before someone stole them off my property, I had 2 of these. And my plan was to put 2 back to back, and then have a firebox kind of on one side, and I was going to use a drum for a firebox, and then have everything separate, more or less like I have those 2 now. The problem though is, of course, someone stole what I had, but when I was looking for designs and how to do this, I found this very smoker, okay? This very smoker was built by a guy named Kirk. Kirk lives about an hour away from me, about 100 miles an hour, well, actually 2 hours away, and about 100 miles away. And he and I, like that, we clicked. Fast friends, definitely. The whole smoking meat, barbecue brethren, we hit it off, okay? And I'm gonna take this glove off so I can walk you around his smoker. Now, the whole thing was, what put me onto Kirk was the fact that he talked about this build, right? He put this together on YouTube, and he talked about what he did to put this thing together. And when I say it is amazing, it is amazing. Kirk has moved on to bigger and better things, and he decided to he sold me this smoker. So yesterday I was lucky enough, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I had like massive extensions and risers and stuff like that on the back of the Mistress. If you don't know, this is the Mistress. Okay. On the back of the Mistress, and I towed this home with a trailer. I'm gonna post some pictures in here of the trailer. But here's a smoker, all right? And when I say this smoker is kick-ass, I need to get the light, okay? I learned from Kirk's mistake when he was walking around it the first time, he didn't have enough light. Well, first, let's start with the firebox. I don't know the exact dimensions of the firebox, but if I had to guess, it's probably 24 foot or 24 inches, excuse me, probably 36 inches wide, okay, or 30 inches. And there's a pretty stout amount of room in there for logs, all right? Kirk was also nice enough to give me a couple logs that were split up so that I could kind of start a fire or cook without having to split up. I actually got some wood. Pickup truck load full, but I have no idea how to split it. All right, so we talked about the firebox down there, okay? The firebox, when I say he welded this thing is perfect. The closure, and it's all insulated and lined to help keep the fire in and the smoke in. Hard latch close. Your slides, okay, to allow air in and out. And I'm opening those up because of the fact that I'm getting ready to try to start a fire in here. There is a warming box for logs. So the whole thing is, the way he explained it, is that if you take a log that's sitting out and you toss it in the fire, it's going to bring down the temperature of the fire. So as opposed to not doing that, he built this firebox, and you can kind of stick some logs in here and they'll come up to temp, and we'll go around. This box is to hold digital meat thermometers, okay? He's got 2 grommets to go through here, through the pan, and as well as into the smoker itself. Now the smoker has 3 tell-true thermometers up here. Those are big ticket items, all right? This conduit shelf, I could lean on this, and I'm a pretty big guy, you guys know, all right? Now, the door, before I open it up, has a counterweight on the back, okay? And from his video, he said that's probably full of 50 pounds of washers, and that's actually all sealed up. Now that I look at it, I couldn't even open it up and crack it if I wanted to. The counterbalance is attached by, I guess, like a stainless braided line, all right? Pulleys up at the top. When I say this thing is trick, it is trick. He also put these risers. These risers are from off of a motorcycle that he was building at the time. Never used them. He had them in his building, he said, and he just decided to use them for that. All right. Are you ready to see the inside of this smoker? When I say this thing takes no effort to open up, none. That counterbalance, that weight in the back is perfect. All right. Here's inside the smoker. Okay. Now, when I was with Kirk or at Kirk's house, I measured these shelves. I believe the lower shelf is about 30 inches deep, and I did not get the width, but if I had to guess, it's probably about 4.5, maybe 5 feet wide. Okay. That top shelf is 24 inches. Okay. And the way he has it set up is these rails, which hold the shelves in, will also, I can pull it out and it'll hold the shelves. Obviously to a certain point, but this allows me to be able to reach all the way to the back of that particular shelf. When I say this is awesome, this is awesome. I'm gonna have to work hard to get this up to capacity, okay? I'm gonna have to work really hard to get this to capacity. Now, that bottom shelf is also reinforced in the middle. There's another piece of angle iron down in there. Uh-oh. All right, there's another piece of angle iron down in there. And this top shelf is pretty sturdy. Looks like probably half-inch angle all the way around, okay? Now, one of the cool things about this, if you know anything about smokers or cookers, this thing is set up reverse flow. What that means is the heat comes from over here in the firebox, then it goes underneath. There's a pan in here, okay? It goes underneath that pan, and the heat escapes from over here on this side, comes up over everything, okay, over everything, and then out the chimney back there, okay? And the stack is over there, it's open up, all right? And what this is or does, it allows the heat to travel under this pan. Now, Kirk was cool and smart enough to be able to put he welded sheet metal down in there. So this actually serves as a huge, well, it's a baffle one, but it serves as a huge water pan. Kirk told me that it'll hold probably about 20 gallons of water, and I believe him looking in here right now. Now, obviously, it's been used. You can see, and if you can smell, this thing smells pretty awesome right now, all right? And I don't know when the last time he cooked on it, but nonetheless, when I say it smells awesome, it looks awesome, everything in here is just great. I'm going to clean it up and do a couple things to it, just a few modifications to try and make it my own. First thing I had to do, Kirk, sorry, that on the top and the back, that don't laugh at my horrible weld, but when I took this off of the trailer, it was too tall. This thing stands up almost 7 feet tall, or just about 7 feet tall, and I hit the end of the garage with this, and it popped off that bearing there, so I had to weld it back together, right? Other than that, there was no damage at all whatsoever transporting this thing home. All right. Now, of course, you're saying you want to see a fire, right? I know I would want to see a fire in this thing. So, now mind you, I went to Harbor Freight and picked up a little weed burner, okay? As per, you know, stuff I've seen on YouTube and other professional cookers and things like that. And don't you know, of course, I didn't look in the box. Don't you hate it when you purchase something and all of the pieces aren't in the box? Well, let me tell you the only thing that's in the box. And mind you, I had a guy, sales associate at Harbor Freight, hand me the box. I didn't think to open it up and look inside. This is the only thing that's in the box. The torch part, not there. Can we say blown? Definitely. I was able to find these little things, little propane canister tanks, whatever. I got those from Lowe's. It was a 4-pack for like 13 bucks right around the corner from the Harbor Freight. All right, so now, because of the fact that I don't have the torch, I had to resort to my old method of how I would light a fire in my charcoal grills by using charcoal. So, I'm going to get the charcoal. I already started a little bit, and it's perfectly red hot right now. I probably should have brought the tripod out here or something, but I didn't think I was really gonna be doing a video. But spur of the moment. All right. So because I'm starting out with the charcoal, I know that I needed to make room for the charcoal. So I'm taking the charcoal, putting the charcoal in, I'm about to put the wood chunks on. Or the logs rather. To catch my fire. Trust me, I'm a professional. Do not try this at home. Now, because I'm not actually going to be cooking anything, I kind of just want to heat it up so I can see how it heats up. I'm going to, just like I said, I'm going to heat it up and see what happens. Alright, so because I'm trying to get the fire to build up, what I'm going to do is leave the firebox door open. I have the baffles on the side open, and you can see it's starting to smoke up in here pretty good. Now if you were smoking meat, and what's awesome is you can see the smoke coming up from the corner over here. This is where the heat comes from. I'm not feeling much heat as of yet, but that charcoal is lighting those logs pretty fast, okay? And I'm gonna keep this open for about another minute or two, and then I'm gonna close it up, close the whole thing up, and let the draft pull the fire up and out. Kirk told me this thing lights up fast. I didn't believe him. Well, I believed him, but I didn't know. This thing lights really fast. I can't believe I'm starting to see the temperature gauges are starting to rise, and you can hear that charcoal's got those logs going. So I'm gonna let those logs go along for a little bit, and I'll come back in a couple minutes. Glasses off might help. Alright, so earlier today I introduced you to my new smoker. Let me get back. And if you couldn't tell, I've got it going right now. So I did just have everything, I was loading everything up. So the temperatures are coming up. The warming box is open, and that's sitting at about 100 degrees right now. Let's check out the fire. So I ramped the fire down just a little bit, but it is blazing. I mean, I'm feeling the heat back here, and I'm a good 2 or 3 feet away. Yeah, I started the fire again this time with some charcoal down at the bottom. You can kind of see it down there, and then stack logs on top. So it seems to be going pretty good. I have, if you didn't see, I have some logs kind of in the warming box, as Kirk the builder recommended. So I'm going to chuck those on in a minute. The temperature is right up at 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Before it gets all the way back up to temperature, I'm gonna open it back up so I can show you what I put in there. And I'm gonna be sitting out here for a while, babysitting. So I have we hear the wood and everything crackling. Alright, so first I have 4 ears of corn over here. I wrapped them in foil and they've been soaking. I have, this is 1 chicken, and this is about, actually that's 2 dozen wings right there. There's another chicken and another 2 dozen wings in there. And let me stand back, and if you can clearly, plainly see, there's a lot more room in there to go. I don't have this anywhere near at capacity. On these shelves, I guess if I'm looking at these shelves, and I didn't measure, but looking at these, there's probably a reinforcement at the 12-inch mark, if I had to guess. Meaning this thing's probably about 4 feet wide, okay? And those 2 dozen wings are taking up only one of the 1 foot sections. Those chickens, just because you know, I wanted to try and cook some chicken, are in another 1 foot section. Now obviously, if you, there's a text message. If you don't know how this thing works, again, down at the bottom, you can see there's some water down in there. I did put some water down in there. I use water when I cook, smoke, keep everything moist. The heat is coming from the warming box over here, or the firebox over here. Then it goes up. There's a little hole about there. It travels, the heat, smoke travels all the way across, and then comes up over here, and then it goes across everything, and then up the chimney. Okay, this is what's known as a reverse flow. Let me move this light. This is what's known as reverse flow. Okay, and because it's reverse flow, this is the hot side of the box. Because the heat is coming directly from down here, I move these over just a little bit, and they'll probably cook at about the same rate. Alright, so that's the first thing on the smoker for right now. I'm going to close this. It's about 10:30 Eastern on May the 19th, I think it is, 2015. So we'll see how this turns out. Hey yo, this is Dash, and I just I'm in awe at this thing. I'm utterly speechless. The builder, Kirk, man, I just can't believe how easy this thing is to run. So of course I'm sitting here, and I've been here, it's probably about going on 11 now, and I've been sitting here and I've been watching the gauges, you know, temperature gauges, and because of where they're positioned, they're both sitting pretty much right at about the same temperature. I'm considering putting some smaller ones down on the lower side so I can get a decent gauge on what the temperature is on the lower shelf as well as the higher shelf. But nonetheless, so I let it do what it was gonna do, right? I adjusted the baffles on the firebox, right? And I adjusted the baffles on the firebox, and it climbed steadily right on up to 275 degrees, which is not a bad thing. I'm just cooking chicken right now, and I needed to throttle it back down. So I did make sure that I put water in the bottom, right? And this is more or less for you, Kirk. Then what I did was, and Kirk, I know you said you always ran it wide open, but I adjusted the chimney to probably about 3/4 of the way open, and it dropped straight on down from 275 to just under 250. I'm considering leaving it about 3/4 of the way open because the temperature is starting to climb back up ever so steadily right now. Now I also, at the same time, and I should have done one and not both, adjusted the dampeners, okay, to bring this down a little bit. because it is humming right along. When I say humming, I mean humming right along. If you can hear, that's the water down in the bottom boiling, all right, or getting to the point where it's about to boil. Man, this thing is cooking. It is cooking. This is an awesome thing. I'm so ecstatic. So ecstatic. Alright, I guess I'll check in a little later. Hey yo, it's Dash again. As if you couldn't tell, I am beat. It is going on midnight and I've been up since about 4:30 this morning. But this is the smoker. This is how far away I'm sitting from the smoker. Probably a good 6 feet if I had to guess. I can't stand any closer than this. The heat emanating off of this damn thing is crazy. This is amazing. This thing is amazing. It's crazy. The heat coming out of here. And actually, it's wild because I can tell that this side of the smoker, where the water is getting dry because it's starting to dry out, is warmer than this side of the smoker, well, there's still water down in there. Gosh, this thing is super duper sensitive. Woo! I'm gonna go get some water and put some more water in here, and the temperatures will probably drop down, which is good. I would like to bring the temps down a little bit. I'm getting ready to peek in the firebox and see what that looks like. Oh. Still plenty of unburnt logs in there, so time to get some water for the smoker. Hey yo, this is Dash, and gosh, it is 1:33, and I've been up for 22, 23, 21 and a half, maybe almost 22 hours. So the smoker, I burned my hand. No, actually, you kind of can see the burn line is from here to there. I had the firebox door open, and I was putting wood in, and I went to stand up. I went just like that. Yeah. Not a good idea. Everything's wrapped up. Just gonna let it finish cooking. I wrap everything up so it doesn't dry out. Put a little bit of sauce on it. The corn, it's all wrapped up, steaming inside the foil packs. The one piece of foil, one corn that I took out, it wasn't done yet. So I actually moved them into the warming box probably about an hour or so ago, thinking they might have been done. They weren't. So I'm putting them back into the main chamber. I'm going to crank the heat up, go lay down for about an hour or so, and come back and then take everything off. Should be done. So this is going to be my final, love this thing. Kirk, let me stand back so you get a better. Kirk, you did an amazing job on this smoker. Amazing. I think I'm going through a total of maybe 8-10 logs. So, and I told you I did use the warming box, but I really didn't need to use the warming box. But nonetheless, The temperature in the warming box at its highest was right about 150 degrees, but right now you can see it's down about 125. The temperatures on the right side and left side, you can tell they're slightly off. Reason being is the water in the pan down here is starting to dry out again, or evaporate actually, better word. See the smoke coming out of there? That's what it's supposed to look like. When you're smoking something and doing it right, you should barely see the smoke. Barely, barely, barely. Alright, I gotta get some sleep. I actually have a big day tomorrow. So, well, later today. Alright, this is Dash. Deuces. Talk to you guys, I don't know,